Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap only on Ken's 5 Plus. I'm your host, Audrey Castellano. Let's get to your biggest stories of the week. At number 5 in our countdown, it's shaping up to be a big year at the box office thanks to everyone's favorite web slinger. Spider-Man Brand New Day hit $1 billion in ticket sales. Sony says the latest superhero flick starring Tom Holland reached a worldwide box office milestone in just 6 days. It's the only film to gross $1 billion faster than 2019's Avengers Endgame. At number 4 in our countdown, Chipotle and Qdoba have pulled jalapenos from production in their restaurant menus after they were linked to a suspected Salmonella outbreak. Chipotle says they replaced them with jalapenos from different growers. 345 people across 27 states have gotten sick from the strain of Salmonella, linked again to those jalapenos. A majority of the cases reported eating a Chipotle between mid-June and July. Others reported eating at other Mexican restaurants. At number 3 in our countdown, the first deaths have been reported in connection with the Cyclosporiasis outbreak, and it's now spread to 15 states. The 2 victims died in Michigan. State health department officials say both people reportedly had significant underlying health conditions and may have been impacted by cyclosporiasis and dehydration. The CDC has identified more than 18,000 cases of domestic cyclosporiasis and more than 11,000 additional cases undergoing further testing. Those who contract the disease say the symptoms can be strong for several days. All right, we all know a healthy heart is important, but it can't do its job alone. In this week's Healthy Essay, Jeremy Baker explains why healthy veins are just as essential to keeping blood moving through your body.
Your veins account for more than half of your body's blood circulation. Your arteries pump blood out of the heart, but that blood needs to return to the heart through your veins, and all of that blood needs to get back uphill, stressing how vein health is so important.
We need to keep these legs moving, and so sitting when your heart's pumping all the time out through the arteries are taking the fresh oxygenated blood down there, but if you're not moving the old blood out of the way, we run into problems.
And if you're not moving the old blood out of the way, that's when you run into problems. Your veins get stretched out, lose elasticity, and the blood can't make it back up to the heart, and your veins get larger, exacerbating the problem.
And then it starts squishing out fluid, and it may blow out little spider veins, or you may get big bulgy ones. Sometimes you don't see anything, but your legs are just getting heavier during the day.
Healthy veins are imperative to keep us alive for many reasons, including waste removal by transporting carbon dioxide to the lungs and organs for removal from the body, controlling blood pressure and keeping cardiac output in check, for transporting nutrients to parts of the body that need them, and for one-way circulation, pushing blood upward against gravity from the legs. Veins rely on contractions of the muscles around them to push the blood upward, similar to how you eat a push pop. Your hands act as the muscles and push up the blood with the goal to get what is inside to the top.
They may be itching, burning, cramping, pain, heaviness, tiredness, and then you start to see things down there. You may get discoloration, and that's iron from the red blood cells dying in your leg because they couldn't get back and get oxygen.
Dr. Hogg says the best way to keep your veins in the best health possible is to keep moving, especially if much of your day is spent sitting down. In the studio, Jeremy Baker, Ken's 5.
Gotta keep moving. All right, the weekly wrap back after this. I'm Audrey Castellano, your morning anchor at Ken's 5. San Antonio has been a part of my story for as long as I can remember. It's where my family found its rhythm, where I'm proud to give back by working with our local nonprofits, because investing in our community is what keeps San Antonio strong. From sunrise to sundown, our city keeps moving. So when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to San Antonio's #1 streaming newscast. Watch anytime, anywhere, weekdays 4:30 to 9 on Ken's 5.
I'm Henry Ramos, your anchor at Ken's 5. San Antonio's been home for nearly a decade, so I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. That is why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves us to act, it moves us forward, and it can even move our hearts. And at Ken's 5, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move San Antonio.
I'm Sarah Duran, your morning traffic anchor at KENS 5. Mornings start with strong coffee, good breakfast tacos, and a race to beat traffic on I-35. Born and raised here, I'm a proud graduate of Marshall High School. This is my home, so I know these roads and the best ways around them. From the rush on 410 to the backups along 1604, I've got your commute covered. Because when your mornings are on the move, so are we. Make the move to San Antonio's #1 streaming newscast. Watch anytime, anywhere, weekdays 4:30 to 9 on KENS 5.
At number 2 in our countdown, Governor Greg Abbott is calling for major changes to how electricity is sold in some cities. He says about 5 million Texans are served by a municipally owned utilities that operates as monopolies, leaving customers with no choice in who provides their electricity. Governor Abbott is proposing legislation that would open those markets to competition, allowing residents and businesses to choose their own electric provider. The governor says ending those monopolies could lower residential electric bills by more than 10%, with even greater savings for many small businesses. Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union has reported an increase of 100 scams a month in the second quarter of this year, and 2 customers told KENS 5 the bank won't reimburse them for their losses. But now a local attorney says federal law could say otherwise. Call KENS reporter Andrew Moore explains why.
Victims say that these scammers were able to start bank transfers without even asking for their password, and they were sometimes using the credit union's phone number or text number to communicate. The credit union says they do not have to reimburse for this situation, but a local attorney says federal law states otherwise.
The scammer tells me that it's imperative that I take care of this immediately.
A caller claiming to be from RBFCU's fraud department told Eric his account had fraudulent activity. Eric was initially skeptical, but then they also had his information.
And they said, "Sir, have I asked you for any information? I've got your username, your password, either my full social or my last 4 of my social."
The scammer then initiated a fund transfer and sent him a text from RBFCU's number that claimed the money was going back to his account.
All he said is I needed to reply yes.
Instead, the money was stolen, and RFBCU both could not get the money back and refused to reimburse Eric. Their denial letter said the transactions reflect authorized activity on his account.
They were choosing not to pursue helping me with my fraud case.
But consumer protection attorney Bill Clanton says that denial is likely in error.
So they're saying EFTA doesn't cover it when you give somebody your account credentials, which is a misunderstanding of the law.
Clanton says this fraud clearly falls under the EFTA, or Electronic Fund Transfer Act, and critically, it appears the scammer initiated the transfer.
The initiation of the transfer is what counts. And so if it's an unauthorized initiation of the transfer, then the EFTA says it's an unauthorized transaction.
Clanton says, according to the EFTA, if the unauthorized transfer is reported within 2 days, the customer is supposed to get their money back minus $50. And while the bank tried to claim this did not apply because this was, quote, authorized activity on the customer account, Clanton believes the transactions were unauthorized, and he says the credit union is wrong.
And so then they can file a lawsuit against the bank.
Clanton told me he has now been contacted by at least 10 different RBFCU customers, and he is now evaluating their cases. For Call KENS, Andrew Moore, KENS 5.
Wow, it helps to know the law, or maybe just to call KENS. Weekly Wrap, back after this.
I'm Barry Davis, your morning news anchor at KENS 5. San Antonio's been my home for 23 years. It's where I met my wife, raising my kids, and built a life I'm proud of. This city means everything to me. That's why I'm proud to be a part of a team that's committed to keeping you informed and connected. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to San Antonio's #1 streaming newscast. Watch anytime, anywhere, weekdays 4:30 to 9 on KENS 5.
I'm Isis Romero, anchor at KENS 5. San Antonio has been home for more than a decade. I don't just report about our community, I belong to it. That's why we care so deeply about getting it right. And when local journalism is done right, it doesn't sit still, it moves. It moves us to act, it moves us forward, and it can even move our hearts. And at KENS 5, we're here for all of it. These are the stories that move San Antonio.
I'm Paul Morellis, your morning meteorologist at KENS 5. You know, I've called San Antonio home for 23 years. When I'm not tracking storms, you'll probably find me on the Canyon Springs golf course or spending time with the family. I'm here to keep you prepared, whether it's heavy rain or hail downtown or gusty winds in New Braunfels. Whatever the weather brings, you'll know what to expect before you walk out the door, because weather never stops, and neither do we. Make the move to San Antonio's #1 streaming newscast. Watch anytime, anywhere, weekdays 4:30 to 9 on KENS 5.
Welcome back. A class ring is more than just jewelry. It really is a piece of a person's history. One San Antonio man has made it his mission to return memories to their rightful owners while hoping to one day be reunited with his own. KENS 5's Bella Papaduke shares his story.
It all started in 1997
when a Kennedy High School graduate lost his class ring during a home burglary. The very next day, he began searching for it. And along the way, he found countless other lost class rings and made it his mission to reunite them with their rightful owners. Nearly 30 years later, he's still searching for theirs and his.
Right now, this case holds 100. Right now, I have probably like 80 class rings.
Richard Escobedo has returned more than 200 lost class rings to their owners or their families across the country.
There's so many different unique stories about how the class ring went missing or how they lost it.
When he tracks down an owner, he doesn't ask for anything in return except a selfie with their returned ring. Then he shares it with his online group, Class Rings Bought to Reunite, where thousands follow the search for lost memories.
What I do with that picture is I share it to the group, and believe it or not, it really gives everybody hope that maybe one day they'll be as lucky as them to get their ring back. And me. I'm hoping one day they say, "Richard, we found your ring." I'd be crying, "Mom," I'd be crying to my mom.
One of those stories belongs to Lady Morgan. In 2020, Escobedo found the South San Antonio graduate's class ring at a flea market, years after it was stolen.
Well, I had my first apartment and I was trying to help someone. And like I said, they hit my jewelry box. I didn't have much. My ring left. And when I asked him about it, he said he threw it in Woodlawn Lake. So I gave up on it.
By then, Morgan had been saving to buy a replacement and tells me getting the original back meant far more than a new one ever could.
I was happy because, like I said, I was getting ready to go buy another one and it wouldn't have been the same, so it turned out well.
The two have stayed in touch ever since.
It makes me happy just to return a class ring. And even the ones that are in San Antonio that I find and return, those are a little bit more special ones because I can meet the person and they can meet me and I can hand deliver them their class ring.
Escobedo says not every search has a happy ending. Sometimes he just can't find someone or people don't want their rings back. But that hasn't stopped him from continuing his mission, one return at a time, while holding on to the hope that someone will one day find his.
In San Antonio, Richard is currently working on reuniting 4 class rings back to their rightful owners. 2 from Kennedy High School, 1 from South San Antonio High School, and 1 from Holy Cross. If you're missing your class ring, we'll have the details on how you can get in contact with Richard over on our website, kens5.com. Bella Papaduke, KENS 5.
What a great mission he's on. All right, and at number 1 in our countdown, an arrest has been made in connection to those devastating wildfires burning near Spokane, Washington. Officials say 37-year-old Aaron Farnauchi has started one of those fires. He was allegedly found in the area with a butane lighter and heavy-duty waterproof matches. The Spokane County Sheriff tells CBS News some were missing from the matchbox. Farnauchi is charged with first-degree arson. Tens of thousands of people have been forced to evacuate because of the fires, but fortunately, no serious injuries or deaths have been reported. All right, that's it for the weekly wrap this week. Be sure to join us next week for all your other top headlines. We'll see you then. that.